In this lecture, I am going to discuss aldol condensation reaction. Now, what is actually aldol condensation reaction? You know that aldol condensation reaction is a very important reaction which involves a carbon-carbon bond formation. Okay, so this is a very important method for carbon-carbon bond formation. Now, what is actually this aldol condensation reaction? So actually, this aldol condensation reaction is a reaction is between two aldehydes or between two ketones. Now, these aldehydes or ketones may be same or different, or one aldehyde or one ketone. So, what are the reactants? Maybe two molecules of aldehydes, maybe two molecules of ketones. Now, these aldehydes or ketones may be same or may be different, or one molecule of aldehyde and one molecule of ketone. These are the reactants. Okay. Now, in this aldol condensation reaction, one molecule of the carbonyl compound is converted into its enolate, and that enolate will act as a nucleophile, and another carbonyl compound will act as an electrophile. Okay. So, out of these two carbonyl compounds, one will act as a enolate ion, one will form enolate ion, and that enolate will act as a nucleophile, and another carbonyl compound will act as an electrophile. Okay. And now, what is the product of the reaction? The product of the reaction will be beta hydroxy carbonyl compound. So, this is the product of aldol condensation reaction, that is beta hydroxy carbonyl compound. Now, I use the word here enolate ion. I said one of the carbonyl compound will convert into the enolate ion in the presence of base, and that enolate ion will serve as a nucleophile here. Now, what is that enolate ion? Okay. Now, what is enolate ion? See, I have taken a case of a carbonyl compound which have at least one alpha hydrogen. Remember it. The carbonyl compound must have an alpha hydrogen to form an enolate ion. Okay, suppose so this is the case of a carbonyl compound having an alpha hydrogen. This is alpha hydrogen. The carbon next to the functional group is called alpha carbon. So this is the functional group, carbonyl functional group, and it is the first carbon attached to this carbon, that's why this is called alpha carbon, and the hydrogen attached with that alpha carbon is known as alpha hydrogen. So it has an alpha hydrogen. Now, any carbonyl compound having an alpha hydrogen, it has a property to undergo tautomerization. Now, what is tautomerization? This is actually 1,3 shift. If I number 1 this carbon, 2 this carbon, and third this oxygen atom, then this is a shift of hydrogen from this first carbon to the third number. First carbon to the third number. That's why this is called 1,3 shift of hydrogen. Now, sigma bond is shifting from this hydrogen to this hydrogen attached with this carbon to a sigma bond. That's what this is called 1,3 sigmatropic shift. Okay. So, from first carbon to third number oxygen is shifting. This hydrogen is shifting from here to 3 number. That's why it's called 1,3 shift of hydrogen. So, hydrogen shifting from one number to third number. This is 1,3 shift of hydrogen. And in general terms, we know that this is a tautomerization. Okay, so it is called keto form because we have no carbon group here, and this form is called enol form because this enol form is en plus all. You know that en is used for carbon-carbon double bond, and all that is for alcohol. So this is en plus all enol form. So every carbonyl compound having alpha hydrogen has this property undergoing tautomerization, keto form and enol form. We know that. And you further note that this keto form is much more stable than this enol form. There are some cases where keto or enol form is somewhat stable, but otherwise keto form is more stable than this enol form. Okay. Now, take this carbonyl compound in the presence of base. Now, what will base do? We know that this carbon, this hydrogen attached with this carbon is simply activated. Why this is activated? Because this is electron withdrawing group is here, and in the presence of electron withdrawing group, This is a carbon. This oxygen will withdraw electron from here to here. This becomes electron deficient, and its electron efficiency, it will due to its electron efficiency, it will pull electrons from carbon, and carbon will pull electrons from hydrogen. So it means this hydrogen is activated. It can leave the system because it is unsatisfied here. The lone pair electron between C and H is slightly shifted towards the carbon atom. So when it finds any electron giving some strength, it will it will leave the system. So this is called active hydrogen. So this hydrogen is activated in the presence of base. It will leave the system, and it will leave the system, and this bond is, and this lone pair electron is going from here to here, and this bond is from here. Okay. So in the presence of base, the water molecule is released. Now this is the water molecule which is released from here, and we will have this form of getting negative charge, and carbon is getting, this is carbon-carbon double bond. Now we know that this form, this molecule is called enoletine. Enolate, en plus oletine, oletine. Okay, and this enoletine is resonance stabilized. It is the second form of this enoletine. This negative charge will come back, and this carbon will get negative charge. This is the second form of this enoletine. And we know that this form will be more stable than this form because here the negative charge is on oxygen, which is more electronegative. That's why I have written this form. So this form is further stabilized by because this negative charge is delocalized over carbon and oxygen. So this is stabilized through this resonance. Okay. This is called enolate ion. This enolate ion is going to be formed here in this aldol condensation reaction, which will act as a nucleophile. Okay. Now, what are the catalysts used? This aldol condensation reaction can be catalyzed by base as well as an acid, but the base catalyzed reactions are more common because they give better yield than the acid catalyzed aldol condensation reactions. Okay. Now, I am taking an example. I have taken the case of acetaldehyde. I have taken two molecules of acetaldehyde, CH3CH2 and CH3CH2. In the presence of base, this is the catalyst. Now, what is the product? I have already told you that these products are beta hydroxycarbonyl compound. This is a beta hydroxyaldehyde. See, this is a carbonyl group. This is a main functional group. Carbonyl group, main functional group, and the carbon next to the main functional group is called alpha carbon. So this is alpha carbon and this is beta carbon. And beta carbon have one hydroxyl group. That's why this is called beta hydroxyaldehyde. And beta hydroxyaldehydes are known as aldols. That's why the name of the reaction is given as aldol condensation on the name of the product form. Okay? Because of this product is called aldol, that's why the name is given aldol. Okay? So, this is beta hydroxyaldehyde. Now see, how will you write the product of aldol condensation reaction? See, I have written these two carbon compounds in different ink, using different ink. See, CH3CH, CH3CHO. This part will come from one carbon compound, and H and CH2CHO. H from here, and CH2CHO will come from second carbon compound. Just we have to do what we have to do. CH write CH3, C single bond O and H, CH, and join this with CH2CHO of the second molecule. These are the product of this aldol condensation reaction. Now, what is the mechanism involved in this aldol condensation reaction? As I already told you that in the very first step, the nucleophile will generate. And how this nucleophile will generate? Then the nucleophile is here, enoletine. So one enoletine will generate, and enoletine will always generate from that carbonyl compound having alpha hydrogen. Right? I already discussed here. So here so we have taken this acetaldehyde molecule here. This is the alpha hydrogen. This is the alpha carbon and one hydrogen. We have three alpha hydrogen, but we need only one hydrogen. This is alpha hydrogen. In the presence of base, just like that, it will leave the system, generate this enoletine, and water will release to the system, and this enoletine is resonance stabilized. This is stabilized through the resonance. Okay. Now, what will be the second step? Now, this nucleophile, which is an enolate ion, this is a nucleophile. See, this is in the carbon. Nuclear charge here on the carbon. So, this enolate ion will act as a nucleophile and attack on the electrophilic carbon of this second carbonyl compound. And this will act as an electrophile and this will act as a nucleophile. So, this nucleophilic attack of this will come back. That's a negative charge, and this negative charge will attack on this carbon. So this will be the second form: CH3C, CH3CH, CH3CH, O minus, CH2, CHO, CH2, CHO. Now this is an alkoxide ion. You know that this is an RO. Why this is alkoxide ion? And see here, we can see here this is a new carbon-carbon bond is generated over here. This is a new carbon-carbon bond. This is new carbon-carbon bond is generated between these two different carbon molecules. So this aldol condensation reaction is used to generate new carbon-carbon bonds. Okay. Now this alkoxide ion is formed. Now after forming this alkoxide ion, we have to protonate this alkoxide ion. So this alkoxide ion is already one water molecule is released in the system. See here by the reaction of base on the carbonyl compound in the generation of the volatile. So this alkoxide ion will extract that proton which have already released to the system in the form of water from this water molecule, will extract this proton and will convert it to aldol, and the base is released as it into the system. That's why this is the base basically acting as a catalyst here. So this base is released. Now this is aldol, and the aldol products are also known as adduct. So this is aldol adduct. Now see, these aldol products are generally undergo dehydration reaction under the reaction conditions to form the more stable alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. You know that the alpha beta unsaturated compound carbonyl compounds are much more stable than this molecule, aldol molecule. That's why this molecule undergoes simultaneous dehydration under reaction conditions to form alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. So this is the aldol molecule undergoing dehydration in the presence of the base, because the reactions are performed in the basic condition. This base will extract this proton, this OH minus will extract this proton and release this water molecule, and this base is again generated. Here OH minus is again released into the system. So base is just acting as a catalyst here. Okay. So this OH minus will extract this proton, this water, and base is again regenerated and forming alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound, because there is a double bond between alpha and beta carbons. Now, why these alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds are more stable? This is protonadiene molecule, which is formed by the dehydration of this aldol. Why this is more stable? You know, this molecule can go into another regenerating form like that. And greater the regenerating forms, greater is the resonance, greater is the stability of the molecules. That's why these alpha beta unsaturated carbon compounds are much more stable than this aldol molecule. Okay. Now, here I have discussed the case of two aldehyde molecules which are same undergoing condensation reaction. Now I am taking the second case, that is when both the molecules are ketones. Now here I have taken the case of acetone molecule. The two acetone molecules are condensing together in the presence of base. This is again I have taken the example of base catalyzed reaction, and the product is beta hydroxy carbonyl compound. Now here the carbonyl compound is ketone, not aldehyde. That's why these are called ketones. Okay? And under these reaction conditions, it will undergo simultaneous dehydration reaction between these two molecules and will form alpha beta unsaturated ketone, and this molecule is called methyl oxide. Okay. Now remember one thing. Go to this step. What is this step? This is the elimination of water from alcohol. This is an alcohol. See, this is OH molecule. And we are eliminating water molecule from alcohol. Okay? And you know that dehydration of alcohol under basic condition is not easy. It is very difficult to dehydrate alcohols under basic conditions. And here we are dehydrating alcohols under basic conditions. And you know very well that dehydration of alcohol under basic condition is not going to be happen. What you do? If you want to dehydrate alcohol, this is dehydrated under acidic conditions. It is acidified. When it is acidified, it will convert into OH2 positive and then will leave to the system like that. Suppose we have an alcohol like that. Suppose we have alcohol. This is alcohol. And we want to dehydrate it. How will you dehydrate? We will acidify it. This H plus over attack will attack over here and it will convert into this like that. OH2 plus and this is CH3 and this is CH2H. Now then this OH2 plus will lead to the system and a carbocation will generate over here. This is CH3 and then this proton will release from here and ultimately we have a carbon-carbon double bond. So this step is ultimately this step. We know that this mechanism is even mechanism which involve a carbocation intermediate. So dehydration of alcohol is always, you know that very well, is always done under acidic condition, not under alkaline condition. But here we are dehydrating the alcohol under basic condition and this reaction is very, very facile, very, very smooth. So why dehydration of alcohol under this molecule is going very easier? Why it is so easier here? What is the reason behind that? The reason behind that is the presence of the second carbonyl molecule over here. This is the driving force for the dehydration of this alcohol under this alkaline condition. Okay? See this molecule. This carbonyl compound will undergo second enolization because it had an alpha hydrogen. This is going to be eliminated. So the elimination is not even mechanism here. It is not even mechanism not followed here. Actually, what is happening here? In the first step of second enolization, the first enolization is here, where the nucleophile is formed. Now this is the second enolization will occur due to the presence of this carbonyl compound. It will convert into the enol form. This H plus will go to the OH minus molecule. So this OH minus molecule, this base molecule will extract this proton because it is acidic proton, and we will eliminate water, and this carbon-carbon double bond is formed here, and we will have a second enolate ion here. Now this second enolate ion now undergo actual elimination. This is the slow step. This is the slow step. This is the fast step. Like here, this is the fast step, and this is the slow step. Here again, this is the fast step, and this will be the slow step. Elimination step is the slow step here. This is the rate determining step. Now what is happening here? This enolate is coming back, and this carbon-carbon double bond shifting here, and this OH minus molecule is going, leaving to the system. And now base is further released into the system. Base is one molecule of base is used, one molecule of base is released. So this is the base catalyzed dehydration, and following E1CV mechanism. Mind it, this is not a carbocation intermediate here. In E1 mechanism, carbocation intermediate is involved, but this is not a carbocation. This is a conjugate base. So that's why mechanism is E1, unimolecular mechanism, because there is one molecule involved. E1CV, unimolecular conjugate base mechanism. So the dehydration of aldols always follow E1CV mechanism. This is elimination unimolecular conjugate base, not follow E1 mechanism, that is which is going through carbocation intermediate. Okay, so this is following E1CV mechanism, dehydration of enolate, dehydration of aldol molecules. discuss the aldol condensation reaction under alkaline conditions. Now, other catalyst is acid catalyst. So we will discuss the aldol condensation reaction under acidic conditions here. This is called acid catalyzed aldol condensation reaction. So actually, this acid catalyzed aldol condensation reaction will not stop at the aldol product at all. Under basic conditions, we can obtain aldols at an intermediate product by applying some specific conditions, giving low temperatures and less strength of base. But under acidic conditions, the reaction will not going to stop at the aldol product or at the aldol product condition, or it's not going to give the aldol product, that is beta hydroxy carbonyl compound, will not form here. This will undergo simultaneous dehydration and will form ultimately alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. Okay? Because we know that dehydration of alcohol under acidic condition is very easy. So they are not going to stop at the aldol step. Okay? So I have taken an example of cyclohexanone. The two molecules of cyclohexanones are condensing together in the presence of acid, giving this alpha beta unsaturated carbon compound, which is enol. Okay. Now, what is the mechanism we follow? Now, what will be the mechanism here? Okay. In the first step, this cyclohexanone molecule will acidify, will undergo protonation, because the conditions are acidic, so it will undergo AG protonation. You know, all the carbonyl compound in the presence of acid undergo protonation, and this oxygen molecule will undergo protonation. And after protonation, this is the protonated carbonyl compound. This alpha hydrogen will leave the system, giving this enol molecule, enol molecule. So this is just like a tautomerism. Carbonyl compound is keto form is converted in enol form in the presence of the acid. Acid helping here, see, H plus is released, which is consumed and again released. This is just a catalyst. So actually proton is moving from here to here. This keto form is converted into this enol form, which I have discussed as earlier. And we know that enols are less nucleophilic than enolates. That's why the aldol condensation reaction of ketones are not so much easier than the aldehyde molecules, because the enols, which is acting as a nucleophile here, under acidic condition, the aldol condensation reaction under acidic condition is not so easy. Why it is not so easy? Because the nucleophile formed here is enolate. This is enol, not an enolate. You know that enolates are more nucleophilic in nature, because having a negative charge there, but there is no negative charge at all. That's why they are less nucleophilic, less reactive than enolate ions. That's why the acidic condition is less stable. The second molecule, this enol molecule will react with this protonated carbon. Both the conditions are acidic conditions, so the carbon protonation undergo this will react with protonated carbon compound with attack. Now this is converting here into the enol form. This carbon molecule here, and this is negative charge will come here, and this negative charge will act here, giving this molecule. Okay. Then further release of this H plus ion from acid is going to be released into the system, and we have this aldol product. But this reaction is not going to be stopped at this stage here, because this is a tertiary alcohol. See, this is a tertiary alcohol, and tertiary alcohol under acidic conditions are acid is present into the medium, reaction medium, and the product is, and this is a tertiary alcohol. You know that tertiary alcohol undergoes easy dehydration reaction, very easy dehydration reaction under elimination. Dehydration is an example of elimination reactions. So it will undergo very easy elimination under acidic condition. This is a tertiary alcohol through even mechanism, not even CV like in case of base catalyzed reaction. It will involve even mechanism because the alcohol is here. This is tertiary and conditions are acidic. So very favored conditions for even mechanism to follow elimination. So this is tertiary alcohol in the presence of H plus, it undergoes protonation, the release of proton, the carbocation intermediate means E1 mechanism will be followed here. So, and ultimately the slow step the H plus will release and this alpha beta unsaturated carbon compound will form under acidic conditions. Okay? Now, moving into the next step, what are the types of aldol condensation reaction? Actually, the aldol condensation reaction is it has a very wide scope for the organic synthesis. Why it has a wide scope? Because it can form a number of molecules in a different ways. So what type of aldol condensation we have? We have self-aldol condensation. The examples, all the three examples I have discussed here. That is the condensation of two acetaldehyde molecules, condensation of two acetone molecules, and this is two cyclopentanone molecules. This is self-aldol condensation. Where two same molecules are condensing together, it is called self-aldol condensation. Second is called cross-aldol condensation. Cross-aldol condensation means where there are two different aldehydes. Suppose one molecule is acetaldehyde and another one is this aldehyde. See, one is acetaldehyde and another is propanaldehyde. So this can undergo aldol condensation. Now the condensation is called cross-aldol condensation. Now these are some two different ketones or one aldehyde and one ketone. This product form is called cross-aldol condensation. And the cross-aldol condensation are not so much very good reactions. Why they are not good? Because we will have a number of products will form there. So we will have a mixture of products will form there. So this is not our desired product will not form in very good yield. So this cross-aldol condensation is will give very low yield of the product. Why will lower yield of the product? Because we will get a mixture of products. Why will we get mixture of products? Because see, there is also alpha hydrogen, there is also alpha hydrogen. Now these two molecules can undergo self-aldol condensation. This is one product, self-aldol condensation, one product. This is can undergo self-aldol condensation. This is one product. Now cross-aldol means suppose enolate will form here and will attack here, electrophile is here and nucleophile is here. Suppose this acting as a nucleophile, this acting as a electrophile. This is one product. Third product, this third product, and again one. This will suppose it acts as a nucleophile and it acts as an electrophile. Fourth product. So we will have four products here. So such reactions are not valuable reactions. These are not valuable reactions. These are worthless reactions. Such kind of reactions are very worthless reactions. So for getting desired product and better yields. So for getting desired product and better yields, we must direct these aldol condensation reaction towards one product. These are called directed aldol condensation reactions. We are directing the aldol condensation towards a particular product. Okay. So what we can do that for directing aldol condensation, or to direct the reaction towards a particular product, or to avoid the mixture formation. We can do what we can do. We can use only one such carbonyl compound which can form enolate. So out of these two carbonyl compounds, so we can use only one such carbonyl compound which can enolize, or we can form enolate. Another cannot form enolate means another does not have any alpha hydrogen. So one has alpha hydrogen and another does not have alpha hydrogen. So this is a good reaction. Like see, suppose I take this acetaldehyde molecule, okay, and I can take this benzodiazide. Again, see here, there is no alpha hydrogen. And there is only, there is alpha hydrogen. So this is one case we can take where there is one reaction doesn't have any alpha hydrogen and another have alpha hydrogen. Okay? Second thing. And what we can do that? The molecules which will act as an electrophile. See, here obviously this will act as a nucleophile because it has inhalable hydrogen, and this will act as an electrophile. Now, here again, probability of forming two products. See, self-hydride condensation product of this acetaldehyde and the cross product of this, when this will act as a nucleophile and this will act over this electrophile, is the second product. Now, what we can do to avoid this self-hydride condensation of this acetaldehyde molecule? We can make it more electrophilic in nature. So if we can make it more electrophilic in nature, then this acetaldehyde molecule cannot act as a self-electrophile. It will always act as a nucleophile. If we attach an electron withdrawing group over here, so this carbon will become much electrophilic than this acetaldehyde molecule, which is going to be electrophile, which is going to act as electrophile during self-hydride condensation. So under such reaction condition, it will always behave as a nucleophile. It is not going to behave as a electrophile. So under such condition, we will get exclusively one product, that is, it will act as a nucleophile and it will act as an electrophile. So such reactions are called directed aldol condensation reaction. We are directing the aldol condensation reaction towards a particular product. This is the beauty of the cross aldol condensation reaction, directing towards a particular product. So I have taken first an example. See here, I have taken the case of this acetophenone molecule. I have taken the acetophenone and taken this acetaldehyde molecule. And to avoid the self-aldol condensation reaction of this acetophenone, I have attached a nitrogen group. You know that nitro group is a very strong electron withdrawing group. This nitro group will make, now this is always going to act as an electrophile and this will act as a nucleophile because it has alpha hydrogen over here. But to avoid the self-aldol condensation of this acetophenone, because it can undergo self-aldol condensation. One molecule acting as a nucleophile, another molecule acting as an electrophile, and they can form self-aldol product. But to avoid such condition, I had attached electron withdrawing group over here to make this aldehyde as a much electrophilic in nature. And we also know that aldehydes are more electrophilic, more reactive in nature than this carbonyl compound. Why? Because in aldehydes there is only one hydrogen which can donate electron towards this carbon making, and in this carbonyl compound there are two alkyl groups to make this carbon less electrophilic in nature. So this is less electrophilic, this is more electrophilic, because here only one alkyl group to donate electrons, but here are two alkyl groups to donate electrons towards carbon. So this carbon will become less electrophilic in nature, this will become more electrophilic in nature. So aldehydes are always more electrophilic in nature than ketones. And we have again attached electron donating group over here, making this aldehyde molecule more electrophilic. So to avoid any scope of self-aldol condensation of this molecule, so we are getting this product because this is undergoing dehydration, and this is the final product. This is alpha beta the carbonyl compound in 99% yield. So the yield of the reaction is very high. This is 99% yield. This towards this directed aldol condensation reaction. Okay. Now the third category of aldol condensation reaction is intramolecular aldol condensation reaction. Now what type of molecule undergo intramolecular aldol condensation? See, if in the same molecules two carbonyl groups are present, so there is a scope of undergoing intramolecular alcohol concentration. One carbon will act as a nucleophile, and the will act as an electrophile. They can get the cyclization of the molecule. So under such reaction conditions, for the formation of the major product, see, there will be very large or very much possibility, or there will be a very different possibility of the formation of the products. They can form a number of products. So now what will be the major product? What are the deciding factors for the formation of the major product under this intramolecular organization? See, I have given this example of this molecule having 6 carbons and having a aldehyde CHO here and ketone proteins here. And I already told you that. Now see, where are the positions where the ineligible hydrogen present, from where it can act as a nucleophile. See, here is this is the alpha carbon having alpha hydrogen. This is the second position, can go inelization. And here the 7th position can undergo inelization, and this 5th position can undergo inelization. Okay. Now, how will we decide which will be the major product? So we will use all the possibilities, we will calculate all the possibilities, and we will, out of these possibilities, we will find out which will be the major product using some calculations or using some rules. See, as I already told you that ketones are less electrophilic in nature than aldehydes. So here is one molecule is ketone and the one is aldehyde. So enolate formation from ketone is more favored. Then this aldehyde will act as an electrophilic in nature because it is electric. If nucleophile form from here, then it will act as electrophile. If enolate forms, then the nucleophile will form here, then it will act as electrophile. But I already told you that aldehydes are more electrophilic in nature because only here is only one electron donor group, and here are 2 electron donor groups, making this carbon atom less electron deficient. However, this aldehyde carbon is more electron deficient because only one alkyl group present to donate electron towards the carbonyl carbon. So that's why this is more electrophilic in nature. So for the product which is formed by the attack of this this second carbon on this carbonyl carbon on 6, always will be minor product. Why it will be minor? Because the nucleophile is forming over and the less electrophilic carbon is acting as an electrophile. That's why this product will be minor product when this second carbon will attack on this carbon. Okay? This will be always minor product. Now, second condition, where this will act as a nucleophile at the 5 or 6, 7 position, and this carbon will act as a electrophile. Okay, which is more favored condition. Now, nucleophile can form over at 7th position or at 5th position. Now see, if at the 7th position nucleophile will form, if enolate form over here, then this 7th carbon will attack on this carbon. Now what will be the number of ring? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here 7-membered ring is going to be formed. And we know that 5 and 6-membered rings are most stable rings. According to Weierstrain theory, 5-membered rings are most stable rings. But after that, we have done calculation for the cyclohexane molecule, and we found that 6-membered rings are more stable than the 5-membered rings, because the 6-membered ring is not living or not spending its time on the planar conformation. It always go in Packard conformation. This is non-planar conformation, and we have two different forms for that, that is board form and chair form, and we further studied that, and we further know that chair form is more stable than the board form. So 5 and 6 member rings are more stable rings, and here we have 7 member ring. This will be again a minor product. Okay. Now from here, if knowledge forms here and we attack over, then we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 member ring, which I have drawn here. This is 6 carbon is attack, 5 carbon attacking on this first carbon, first, and 5 position 5 is linked to 1, 5 will lead to 1, and it will convert, obviously attacking here, it will go there, it will convert into OH and this is CH3. So this will be the major product from this intramolecular aldol concentration out of 3 possibilities. One possibility, second possibility, and third possibility. Out of these 3 possibilities, this will be the major product, other 2 products will be minor products. Finally, we will talk about the stereochemistry of the aldol condensation reaction. So the stereochemistry of the aldol condensation reaction is controlled by the geometry of the enolate ion and the stability of the enolate ion. Okay. So there are 2 kinds of enolate ion can form, that is kinetic enolate and as well as thermodynamic enolate. Now what is kinetic enolate? Kinetic enolate, that enolate ion which is less stable, and thermodynamic enolate, that enolate ion which is more stable. Okay. Now what is kinetic? Kinetic means the reaction conditions are kinetically controlled reactions, and thermodynamic enolate means the reaction is going under thermodynamically controlled conditions. Okay. Now what is kinetically controlled reactions? Kinetically controlled reactions are if we use a very strong base like lithium diisopropylamide, which is a sterically hindered base as well as a strong base, and the temperature is low and the reaction time is, and we keep the reaction time very short. So under such reaction conditions, we will have this kinetic enolate ion which is less stable, because here formation 2 types of this alpha, here are 2 types of alpha hydrogens are present here and here, but the base is very, however the base is strong, the base is very strong, but it is still hindered. It cannot accept product from here, because it is still in hindered position. It will accept product from here. That's why we have this condition enolate and less stable enolate. Okay. Under thermodynamic conditions are like the base, like sodium hydroxide. Use of sodium hydroxide. However, sodium hydroxide is not very strong. Sodium hydroxide is strong base. But with respect to this LDA, this lithium diisopropylamide, it is weak base. Okay. We are compared to this base. Basically of these 2. So if LDA is compared with this sodium hydroxide, so sodium hydroxide is very weak with respect to this LDA. High temperature and low reaction times. Under such conditions, first of all, this kinetic enolate will form, and this kinetic enolate will extract proton from here, and we have this more stable thermodynamic ion, and this kinetic enolate is converted into the starting. Okay, this is the most stable thermodynamic enolate ion. This carbon over here. Okay. Now, when we have more than when we have different carbonic compounds like 2 different aldehydes, 2 different ketones, and 1 aldehyde, 1 ketone. So under such reaction conditions, we can have 2 chiral centers into the product. So the product either will be syn, or it will be anti, or it will be nitro, or it will be trio. So what will be the major product? So the major product formation will depend on the reaction conditions as well as the geometry of the cyclic transition state which is involved here. Okay. Suppose the reaction we do under thermodynamic control conditions. So under thermodynamic condition, Z enolate and E enolate can form easily. So this is thermodynamic condition. With other thermodynamic conditions, we have this Z enolate as well as E enolate. Thermodynamic always most stable enolate form. Now this most stable enolate can have either Z conservation or it can have either E conservation. So this is Z as well as E conformation, it can assume both the formation of both Z and enolate formation is they are in equilibrium. Okay, equal probability. Now if now this Z enolate attacks on this aldehyde molecule, then there is a involvement of this 6-member cyclic transition state, where C double of this R double dash, this is the R double dash molecule, R double dash C double O. I have written only one bond as a solid line, and the one denoted by a dotted line because this is going to be clean. So that's why. So and this is the R C double bond C. This is R C double bond C dotted line because it's going to be break during the reaction. So now this is R dash and O negative minus. Normally this M means actually metal ion. Like if you use sodium hydroxide, this is Na. If you use LDA, this is lithium ion. So this is the metal ion also involved in this 6-member transition state. And after this 6-member transition state, since the stereochemistry of the reaction is controlled by this 6-member transition state minded. Remember it. Okay. So this 6-member transition, after this 6-member transition involves here, then we have this syn of the reaction problem. So if Z enolate is formed, the reaction will be syn of the reaction. Mind it, if Z enolate always leads to syn of the erythro product. If you use erythro nomenclature, or use syn anti nomenclature, so Z enolate always leads to syn of the erythro product. And if E enolate form, and E enolate is the reaction going through E enolate, and E enolate always leads to this anti or trio product. Remember it. E enolate will lead to anti of the erythro product. Z enolate will lead to syn of the erythro product through the 6-member transition state. Now see this 6-member transition state. Which will be the major product? Now which will be the major product? Because both the products are forming. Now which will be the major product? Now see, if Z enolate is there, so Z enolate, these two carbon groups. Z means cis form. Z stands for cis. And for cyclohexane chemistry, you know that this is a 1-2 case of 1-2 substitute cyclohexane, 1 and 2 positions. They are substituted by alkyl groups, and 1-2 for 1-2 disubstitute cyclohexane, 1-2 cis is axial equatorial. One bond is at axial position and the one is at equatorial position. This is a extension of cis. Z means cis. This is 1-2. This is axial. This is an axial position, and this R is at equatorial position. 1-2 cis case. But this is case of E enolate. E enolate is at like trans position, and 1-2 trans. And 1-2 trans, that is 1-2 trans is always diaxial or diequatorial. You know that equatorial bond is more stable than diaxial, that's why we will take this diaxial position, not diaxial position, because the bonds at axial position always leads to this less stability of the molecule due to 1-3 in diaxial interactions. Okay, so this is now 1-2 trans. Two possibilities are diaxial, diequatorial. We will take this diequatorial form to equatorial position. So all now here the transition state is more stable transition state. Here the transition state is less stable transition state because one bond is in axial position, and due to 1-3 indirect interaction, this is going to be less stable. Axial bonds always destabilize the molecule cyclohexane chain. This transition state will be less stable, and this transition state will be more stable because of these diequatorial bonds. So the product will be major here, that is anti or trio product will be major product under thermodynamic control. So if the reaction conditions are thermodynamic reaction conditions, then major product will be always, that is anti or trio product will be the major product of aldol condensation reaction of two different kinds of reactants. Okay. Now under kinetic control. See, under kinetic control, the syn and anti forms can form in equal amount. there is no stereoselectivity. We know that the rate of the reaction, thermodynamic means the rate of the reaction will be slower and the stability of the product will be higher. Here we have more stable product are formed. We will react in case of under thermodynamic condition. However, the rate of reaction will be slower, but the product form will be more stable product are will form. So this six number consistency which is having these two bonds and equal positions. But under kinetic control, the rate of reaction will be faster, but always less stable product form. So here, both the products can form in equal amounts. There is no selectivity. So higher the rate of the reaction, lesser will be the selectivity. Lesser the rate of the reaction, higher will be the selectivity. Now here, the rate of the reaction is very high. So the selectivity is going to be very, very, decreased. There is no selectivity at all in under kinetic control reaction. But we can gain some selectivity. How we can gain some selectivity? See, suppose if we take such type of molecules like CH3, CH2CO and having a touch with group over here. Okay, so if we use this carbonyl compound, this as a reactant, then the syn/anti under such conditions, obviously the anti product will be the major product. Why this will be the major product? Because this is formed at bulky group at the directorial position. But when the bulkiness of this group will decrease, if we replace the sign with a suppose isopropyl group, then the selectivity will decrease, and the selectivity goes to 4:1. Okay, if 4 forms this more stable product, 1 forms this less stable product. So the selectivity under kinetically controlled reactions, it depends on the substrate. Okay, so otherwise it will form equal amount. Suppose the substrate is not so much selective, if you use reactants like CH3CO, CH3 or some other reactants where the selectivity cannot obtain, under such conditions we have mixture of syn and anti products under kinetic control reaction. But thermodynamic control reactions, we will have anti or stable product as a major product. Now, this is all about the theoretical portion of this aldol condensation reaction. Now, we will talk the experimental preparation of this aldol condensation reaction, or applying this aldol condensation reaction in our own laboratory to form some product. Okay, now we will form benzyl acetophenone, that is also known as chalcone. Benzyl acetophenone, also known as chalcone, by reacting with aldehyde, and the reactant is acetophenone. This is the benzaldehyde, and this is acetophenone under very less basic conditions. That is sodium hydroxide. We are doing the reaction in thermodynamic conditions. Okay, and in the solvent is used the methanol, and we have this benzyl acetophenone or chalcone product. This is dehydrated. This is undergo dehydration. So this is from the carbonyl compound known as chalcone, having melting point 57 degree centigrade, and crystals are slightly light yellow crystals are there. And there is a low melting compound. Low melting point, it has a low melting point compound, so that recrystallization will be slightly tough. To gain the crystals of such molecules which have lower melting point is slightly tough task. So what we will do for the preparation of this benzyl acetophenone or chalcone? By applying aldol condensation reaction, this is a cross aldol condensation reaction, and which is directed but this is directed aldol condensation. We are using only such carbonyl compound which can form enolate only from here, and this will act obviously here, so the yield will be no side product will form there. This is a completely directed cross aldol condensation reaction. There is no possibility of other product. Why is it no possibility? If this is undergoing self-aldol condensation, but you know that I have already told you that the electrophilic nature of this benzaldehyde is more than this acetophenone. So rather attacking the nucleophile, rather attacking on the same acetophenone molecule, it will attack on the benzaldehyde molecule. So that's why there is no cross product, there is no self-organization, always we will have only this product. Okay. Now how will we do this reaction? We will dissolve around 4 pellets. We will take sodium hydroxide, 4 pellets of sodium hydroxide, and dissolve these 4 pellets of sodium hydroxide in 10 ml of water in a round water flask or in a flask. Okay. So it is better to take a round water flask. We have to do very vigorous shaking. So it is better to take round water flask. So in a dried and completely washed, cleaned round water flask, we will take 4 pellets of sodium hydroxide, and we will add 10 ml of water there, and then we will dissolve this sodium hydroxide solution. Dissolve this sodium hydroxide pellets. Then we will add 15 ml of methanol as a solvent there, and then we will add 15 ml of methanol, and we will cool the reaction mixture because we have added sodium hydroxide. It will get heated due to epithermic reaction. Then we will cool the reaction this flask around 20 to 22 degrees centigrade. Okay, if the temperature go beyond 22 degrees centigrade, we will cool the flask at the temperature to 20 to 22 degrees centigrade. Then we will add 6 ml of acetophenone. We will measure 6 ml of acetophenone, and we will add this acetophenone to the flask. And then we will again measure 5 ml of benzaldehyde, and we will add this benzaldehyde into the reaction mixture, and we will shake it vigorously. See, the reaction mixture must be homogeneous, so it will shake it very, very vigorously. Vigorous shaking will be there. If you have a magnetic stir, then stir it. Otherwise, shaking will be very vigorous. So after shaking this reaction mixture, it will convert into a yellow solution, and the temperature reaches around 30 to 35 degrees centigrade. So slightly it will get heated due to the reaction occurring there. So, and the reaction mixture will turn into yellow solution. Okay, and after 15 to 20 minutes of vigorous shaking, the reaction mixture completely becomes turbid. It becomes turbid because that okay, now it becomes turbid. Then after becoming a turbid, we will continue to shake it. After some time, it will separate it out into 2 layers. It is separated into 2 layers. There will be clear-cut 2 layers. Okay. So when these 2 layers are formed, when these 2 separate 2 layers are formed, then we stop the shaking. So the shaking will stop only when there will be 2 separate layers of the into the reaction mixture. Then it is cooled down. Okay, and it is cooled under ice salt mixture. If we add some salt to the ice, so the heating rate of ice will be decreased. So the cooling will become more efficient. So under ice salt it will be cooled down, and recrystallization or crystallization initiated by scratching the walls of the flask. Scratch the walls of the flask with the help of the spatula or glass rod slowly, so that we can initiate the crystallization of the product. So after scratching, to induce the scratching, the product will separate out as light yellow crystals, and you will take no need to recrystallize it because the crystals are pure here. Filter it, dry it, and take the melting point of the compound, which will be 57 degrees centigrade. This is the reported melting point. So this is all about the alveolar condensation reaction, and it's an application in laboratory to form this chalcone molecule.